Everybody sing that shit.
Danny Rose passes England test with composed performance at wing-back. Support for Danny Rose even extended to the royal family on Thursday, with the Duke of Cambridge making a point of talking to the England fullback on a visit to Gareth Southgate's squad. A patron of a mental health awareness campaign alongside Kate and Harry, William wanted to express how impressed he was that Rose had spoken so courageously to the British press earlier this week about his recent battle with depression. "If you don't mind me mentioning, I think it's really very good what you did," said the Prince, who met Southgate's Russia-bound party in his role as president of the FA. "Well done. You should be really pleased. Loads of support from me on that." Southgate was apparently of much the same view, while Rose himself was said to be heartened by the response. As Chris Kirkland told the BBC on Thursday, having suffered with the illness during his own football career, speaking out about mental health will only help others. After a difficult 18 months at Tottenham, his time with England, Rose said on Tuesday, had been his salvation, St George's Park his sanctuary. You could tell that in the way he approached this friendly encounter, playing in a manner that suggested he was enjoying being part of this ambitious young England team inside a vibrant Ellen Road. Rose looked sharp, alert, keen to get forward and determined to show Southgate that he is indeed ready to face Tunisia on June 18. By his own admission, he is fortunate to be on the plane to Russia. Ryan Bertrand, he said, had every right to feel angry when Rose has played so little football in a season so disrupted by injury. Southgate's decision to give Rose the No. 3 shirt would suggest he is even ahead of Ashley Young in the pecking order, even if the Manchester United fullback started against Nigeria at Wembley. But this was a test for Rose, an examination of exactly how fit he is on a night when other players were probably under slightly less scrutiny. Watching Rose take the ball past an opponent before launching a decent ball in the direction of Jamie Vardy would have encouraged England's manager, as would Rose's obvious willingness to get on the ball as much as possible. Marcus Rashford was stealing the show here on Thursday night, not least with a quite brilliant opening goal, but Rose was among England's better performers in the first half, every bit as positive for England as it had been against Nigeria. For a Yorkshireman like Rose it must have been particularly pleasurable, his spirits lifted further if his family were indeed here. As we now know, Rose has asked his family not to travel to Russia because of his concern that they will suffer racist abuse. He has said that will be particularly tough on his father, Nigel, when he makes a point of watching his son whenever he plays for England. Indeed, he said he half expected Nigel to ignore his wishes and travel to the games in Russia without telling him. Leeds, of course, is an awful lot closer to the family home in Doncaster, and it must have been a proud moment to see their son playing here, however surprised they might have been by the interviews that appeared in Thursday's newspapers. As Rose said, he feared they might have been angry to learn of his depression through the media. That, and the fact that he had not told Southgate of his struggles either, was perhaps the most startling aspect of his interview. One has to assume he is glad to have shared his story, and going into the World Cup is in a better place as a result. He appeared confident and composed on Thursday night, more than holding his own on the left side of an England defence that comfortably contained their Costa Rican visitors. Southgate would have been pleased to see the fullback on the opposite flank performing well too, on what for Trent Alexander-Arnold was his international debut. Right now it seems unlikely he will displace Kieran Trippier when the Tottenham player is England's best dead ball specialist and a fine deliverer of crosses from the right. But before being replaced by Trippier midway through the second half, a player who has enjoyed such a fine season at Liverpool gave a good account of himself. That switch in this final warm-up game nevertheless suggested Trippier is indeed first choice for the role, while the decision by Southgate to leave Rose on the field provided a further indication that the England manager wants him fully fit for that opening group game.